I'm Sudeepthi Dondapati. Have you ever wondered how a successful relationship or any business would establish? If you have ever thought about it, certainly you would come up with some suggestions or some impressions. So, your own personal perspectives. So, if you have ever pondered over these issues, maybe you are a serious worker working in any organization, or you are working in any team, or in respect, with regard to any company or software or hardware, wherever you work. So, any workplace generally. So, if you really prosper, have you ever thought about the reasons? Or if you have not prospered anywhere and you feel life is very difficult for you to continue and you find it very difficult to persuade others, or you find it very difficult to get the result that you really aspire for. So these are some questions we really struggle with in day-to-day workplace or any professional way areas where you take up some very Herculean task, or you put a lot of effort and you see a very good result, or you don't see any good result. So whatever is the end result, whatever is the ultimate product, there are certainly some reasons behind that. So if you really succeed in your in your task, then definitely there are reasons. Or if you don't succeed also, or if the result is very poor, even in that case, definitely there are results where you have to sit, relax, and understand the reasons, and you have to reflect on your work, the type of work you are really doing. So, now welcome to the session, Building Interpersonal Skills. So, this is the session for today. Conducting several sessions like this, especially when we build up career development, or when we, build up any new programs regarding career development, or we start new concepts on building different successful relationships. You will definitely have to think about building your interpersonal skills. So now let's get started. Now, what do you understand about this interpersonal skills? Why do you have to need, or why do you have to develop? Do you really think that these are unnecessary and definitely not required for you to establish successful relationships, especially business relationships? So if you go to any business fields or field, there you will encounter a number of people there over there. So what kind of relationship you establish with them? And if you find a person, a manager or a boss who's very successful in terms of product, or in terms of kind of like rewards, achievements, accomplishments, so several targets, if he is able to meet, then you will have to definitely you will have to face so many reasons, or you will have to find several reasons for that person to be successful, and definitely you have to go and sit with them and ask for their reasons. Then you will be shocked to hear, or you'll be surprised to hear that definitely he will have built, or definitely he would maintain good interpersonal relationships. And you cannot undermine, or you cannot underestimate the importance of building interpersonal skills, because once you develop this, then automatically several things flow behind that. So, before we understand and before we dig deeper into the concept of, or the advantages of building interpersonal skills, let us understand what are these interpersonal skills? IS, interpersonal skills. So what are these? And what do you have to do with that? And why do you need it? And what, in course of time, how are you going to really bring up certain challenges, or certain you face certain challenges, you have to confront them, and how are you going to provide solutions to that? And so, as a matter of fact, let us understand, let us acknowledge the importance of interpersonal skills in your lifestyle, in your work life, in your professional career, or in your professional self. So let us start thinking about this concept, interpersonal skills. So interpersonal skills are generally the skills that you use with between two people or more than two people. So generally it is not intrapersonal, personal, but it is interpersonal skills. So these interpersonal skills between personal, okay, you kind of establish a relationship between two people, or between three people, or more than four, or more than five people. So you develop this kind of relationships, and in a way you try to continue with them. So it is the ability to communicate. It is the ability to establish a relationship. It is the ability to build up a bond. It is the ability to communicate with them. It is the ability to persuade them. It is the ability to establish different relationships with them, to establish or to have in common with them when you are building up different projects. It's all about getting partnership. It's all about convincing and enjoying the fruit of that interpersonal relationship. So there are several disadvantages, but you have to be very careful that they are in limit, or in limits, or they are within the boundaries of your relationships. They should not go or intercede. They should not exceed more than what is required. So if it exceeds, or the relationship, interpersonal relationship exceeds more than what's required, then you won't be able to definitely control it. As a result, you will have to find, or you will have to reap very drastic repercussions. So you have to be mindful of doing that. So basically what you're doing there is you are trying to understand that it involves interpersonal relationships, involves the ability to communicate and build relationships with others. So what does this communication means? Communication means interacting with them? No, you're wrong. Interaction is more than just delivering your ideas or transferring your ideas that you have on your mind, but they are more than that. So in short, what I want to say is interpersonal relationship, in and especially in specific communication, means to be able to transfer your ideas, at the same time to be able to respond to them, persuade them, and also to be able to get persuaded. So what happens? You give and take, kind of a barter system. So you exchange your ideas, you exchange your benefits, you exchange your profits also. That means it's like mutual coordination and cooperation exists between this kind of cooperation exists between two parties. So let's think party A and B. Two groups are there: Group A, Group B. So, for example, Group A belongs to a very successful organization. Like, it is all about a very big, kind of business organization, whereas Group B is not so successful, or not so big, not so received and well acknowledged company, but it is it is average in doing, it's okay, it's not so it's not very poor, but it is okay. So kind of like, then this group B uh, involves and have this kind of tie between with that group A, and as a result, what happens, both parties who are involved in this relationship start working on their projects, right? Group B offers its own help in terms of success, or in terms of result, or in terms of equipment, or in terms of manpower, whatever you take it, let you number it in any to any extent. But basically, what the group B offers help, and group A receives it at the same time. Group A also, helps group B. So what happens there? Definitely a certain strong, healthy professional bond is built up there. So that is very good. You have to have such relationships. So communication demands more than what do I have to say? It depends more than talking or transferring your ideas. So it is more, or it includes your relationships. It includes action oriented thing. So it does not limit itself to a few kind of like exchange a few ideas, or few exchange of ideas like that, but it is more than that. So that's what it involves, the ability to communicate and build up relationships with others. So often called, that is also called people skills. So you need to have that. And especially, come on, you graduate software engineers, or upcoming graduates engineering, but upcoming software engineers, you will have to imbibe, you have to nurture, you have to habituate, you have to inculcate this interpersonal skills, which is very useful and essential in your workplace. So definitely, if you're an engineer with this good interpersonal skills, then you are the right person to work in that company that you are really looking for, right? So that's very important, right? Next, so again, to talk about this interpersonal skills, they tend to incorporate both your innate personality traits and how you've learned to handle certain social situations. So they tend to incorporate both your personality traits. So what is this? Incorporating both interpersonality traits. So your innate qualities. So some things which are already inside of already, which you really don't learn them. So they're innate, they're within they're inbuilt, part of personality. So for instance, let's say, so you're a person, he's very good at persuading others. So if you're very good at persuading others, then that's all. You are able to convince the other party in, no matter however complex the challenge is going to be. So what you do is, so that is very neat. And for example, also like you apply that in your like social context, where in your society, where you go and convince others, where you go and persuade them, where you go sit with them and talk to them, right? So what do you do there? You convince them. Definitely, for example, two people are involved and they fight, okay, and there's no mutual coordination plan, and so they break up. So what do? You go and establish, or a kind of harmony between them, and you're able to persuade them. Or back your home, even in your house, where you're able to convince your parents, or you're able to convince your family members then what happens? Like you are, it's like, you are able to definitely sit with them. You are definitely have a very happy time. So you're enjoying your innate quality over there. So what happens is they tend to incorporate both your innate personality traits and how you've learned to handle certain social situations. So that's all about it. And so you've learned to handle all certain, that's what they said, to be able to resolve certain complex issues. So it's all about having the social or people skills. So these are very you have to incorporate them. And if you are already a person who has this kind of interpersonal skills with innate personality traits, characteristics, or qualities already within, built in you, then no matter whatever is the situation, definitely you can really go through them. Next, interpersonal skills are the tactics a person uses to interact with others effectively. So why did I use the word tactics? It's just a kind of strategy. It's a good strategy. It's not a harmful strategy, but it is a good strategy where you can, see if you see the picture over there, you find a kind of healthy environment involved there, and where the party or the person who is really engaged in that conversation looks very happy at the same time. The people who are listening to him also look very cheerful, right? So, and this is a kind of business strategy or a tactic that you need to develop. So I'm not saying that it is a cheating, or I'm not saying that it is just a fake trait that you should really develop. But what I say is, like, you have to kind of tune yourself to practice this kind of interpersonal relationship. So what you do is you go sit with them and then kind of establish a very harmonious relationship. So he uses a person in any business or in any organization, is expected to possess this kind of interpersonal skills, because you represent the company you're working in, you represent the organization you're working in. So with very good relationships, you're bringing so many offers, opportunities. Like if you're a software engineer, you bring up so many projects, right? You draw several opportunities to by your interpersonal relationship. So that's always, so it is also a way of understanding your networking skills. So you have got very good social network. So as a result, what happens? You sit with them, you talk to them, you convince them, and you get the desired, you receive the desired and result. So that's all, you have to do, right? So now, understanding interpersonal skills. So little more, little deeper to understand. You see, interpersonal skills, they're often referred to as social intelligence. I know about emotional intelligence, like, right, academic intelligence. But what is this social intelligence? Social intelligence is something, the intelligence you possess in social context, for social purposes, for social networking, for any social interaction. So you will have to, understand that the social intelligence is very much in demand in any company. So nowadays, what happens is, like, your companies, right, wherever you are applying there, your companies don't look for, they don't look for, the people who always have this very good academic records, right? They do not really look for them. People who have very good records. There are several people, but there are a few people who have academic good records at the same time. Also, these interpersonal skills. So, companies are looking forward to these, people. So, what do you have to do is you have to train yourself, tune yourself, get trained, practice them before you step out of your education. You try to inculcate these things. So that is why to be able to, mingle with people, to be able to kind of like, get along with them, in terms of your, and using your intelligence, to resolve social problems, or using your intelligence to build up new relationships, especially in any business setup. So that is why they are often called as social intelligence. To be able to use, in the sense, what? To be able to understand where to do, what kind of relationship you can really, develop, and what kind of relationship is required, what is unnecessary, what is necessary, what is required, and to what extent you can really go to, succeeding that, and what sort of exchange should happen, and what sort of responses, what sort of, agreements you can make, what sort of responses you can give. So all these things are, required in case if you are a person who is looking forward to practice them, right? So next, point number 2. Point number 1 is they are referred to as, social intelligence. The second thing is reading signals others send for giving responses. So reading the signals others send for giving responses. Right? You understand also their responses. You understand what to say next, what to say, when to say yes, and also to be able to understand, perceive, talking, giving your responses, to be able to understand how much you can really get along, how much you are able to understand what the other person is trying to cite or hint at what he is saying. So to be able to understand what that person is trying to, involve you in any task that really. So that is like, you sense that sort of, problems, or you sense very good opportunities, whatever it is, favorable situation. So all that is like, to be able to read the signals others send for giving responses. Also, if you understand properly, you'll be able to receive them. If you understand properly, you'll be able to respond to them. If you understand properly, you will be able to, kind of like establish, proper relationships. Next, third is, while interpersonal skills may be personal, they can be developed. Point number 1, they are referred to as social intelligence. Point number 2, to be able to read the signals others send for giving responses. Point number 3, not only these are innate, not only these are very personal, but also you can work on them. If not they're in it, yes, definitely you can work on them. Definitely you can really come up with a person with good interpersonal skills, in case if you are a person who is committed or dedicated to, this kind of work ethic. It's a kind of work or professional desirable kind of eligibility you need to have. So that's very important. Next, importance of developing interpersonal skills. IS, what is its importance? Why is it important? Or no? So what's that? In many organizations, what happens, like, employees with strong interpersonal skills are valued for pleasant demeanor and positive, solution oriented attitude. What is this, sense actually? In many organizations, employees with strong interpersonal skills are given respect, or they're respected, they're valued. Why? Because these people will go and bring the companies to heights. These people will establish very good relationship with the outside companies. So as a result, what happens? Like, you bring several opportunities, you talk to them, you sit with them, you understand, kind of like you try to move with them, and you try to draw certain conclusions from them, and you win so many targets for the company or the organization you're really working in. So what happens is, like, you draw this kind of great favor right from the outsiders, and as a result your company rewards you. As a result, your organization acknowledges you. So that's why these are valued for pleasant demeanor and positive solution. See, that's a kind of decent, required, disciplined, kind of behavior. And there, because of this pleasant demeanor behavior, definitely your company will honor you, right? And also they will see that this is solution oriented attitude. That's such a big word to really describe this interpersonal skills and its importance. It's like, this is a kind of behavior which says that it is a kind of solution oriented, to be able to provide solutions to the problems that may arise in course of work. So that is why these people are valued, these people are honored, these people are acknowledged. So it's very important. Next, now let's see what is the significance of it, right? Okay, so why is it so important? We understood the importance of it. Now let us talk about why is it so important. So, and how is this interpersonal skills how is this interpersonal skills going to be received, and how significant it is going to be. So now, during the process, what happens, you're, especially when you attend or appear for this interview, as interviewers look for the ones who can work well with others. Have you ever questioned, like, why do they really need people, novice or the beginners with good interpersonal skills? Just why do they ask for this team skills? Teams, whether they worked in team, is because they will see that whether you are the right person to work in that company, because you will have to have a kind of interpersonal relationship with them. So you have to mingle with them, you have to work with them, you have to coordinate with them, you have to cooperate, you have to get cooperation. So as a team, if you work as a team, if you really work or get along, then definitely you will bring success to the company that you are really working in. So that is why they will look for the people who are good at this. So this is a reason, because in companies you have to definitely always a team works, right? A team leader is assigned, and the rest will coordinate and cooperate. So what happens is, when you coordinate and cooperate, definitely you meet your deadlines, you meet your targets, you keep doing your work well. So if this team is well coordinated, if this team is very healthy, if this team is very good, without any wicked motives or problems, internal struggles, issues, bad issues among themselves, then it will definitely prosper. So what happens? This team will contribute to the growth of any company. That is why they will understand. That is why they want the people with these personal skills. So what happens? Let us understand what happens if the company, or if a person who doesn't have interpersonal skills will join. If in case if he joins any company, what happens? Obviously, he does not talk to the others. He doesn't know how to get along with them, and as a result, always he has fight. Always he kind of comes up with different issues, problems, and as a result, they are not able to progress. Instead of progressing, what happens is, like, they digress, they go back. So that is why the interviewers look for the ones who can work well. That's why even in your resume or curriculum vita, you mention that you are a team leader, in case if you are a team leader. So that can be highlighted in your resume. Next, list of interpersonal skills. So now we've talked about what are interpersonal skills. We understood why is it so important, what is it so why what is its significance. Let us now understand. So what will be actually what are some ingredients, what are some skills that can be understood as interpersonal skills. They are active listening. Number one, active listening. Number two, dependability. Number three, empathy. And rest of them we will discuss a little later. So number one, active listening. Why is it so important? What is this active listening? Active listening is to be able to perceive what others says, to be able to comprehend what others says, to be able to respond in an appropriate manner. And if you're if you're a colleague or somebody who works in, or a team member, if your team member has any problem, you should be able to, when that person is trying to voice his or her problem or feelings, how good you are at listening, whether you're able to listen. Listening doesn't merely means hearing, but to be able to pay attention to what that person is telling. So you should be able to do it. And also it is also all about how good you are in understanding the problem of others, and how good you are, how good you are at providing good responses to others, right? So that is what actively, you cannot be a passive listener. So that is definitely an unmerit in case if you have that. So shed away that, inculcate this habit. That's why we emphasize on listening skills. That's very important. The listening skills is not just if you drop a pen and I hear the sound. That's not all about interpersonal skills. It's like, paying attention to what you're saying and to be able to comprehend and to be able to provide a solution. That is what. And next, number two, dependability. It is also about, how well, people can really depend on you, and how well you can really trust others. So whether they're able to depend on you for, work, progress. So that is also very important. You have to build up that kind of trustworthiness. You have to build that kind of trust, ship in your workplace. Others should be able to, trust you with the work that they assign. That kind of, they will entrust you with, in case, with any work, and definitely they will think about it. So that's very important. Next, empathy. So empathy is very important. To be able to empathize with others, sympathize with them. That means you have to keep your feet in others' shoes. That means to be able to understand their problems. You look at the problem through their lens, through their perspective, through their eyes. You have to understand, hold the truth through them. Because in case if they say that's a problem, you should be able to understand them, and you should be able to help them. You should be able to to be able to kind of share their problems, and if you can really help them in any way, or else you can really well coordinate with them. So that's these are all. Empathy is also very is also one of the skills, part of interpersonal skills. Also, this leadership. This is also another list, quality or trait, or kind of skill that is part of interpersonal skills. Leadership. You to be able to be a good leader, to be able to lead a good, flock. How well you are leading your team. So whether you have leadership qualities, or you're a self-centered person and also, or if you're not a person who's capable of taking up challenges in the team, or no, that's really come against him, or to be able to meet the certain deadlines, all that, you have to be a successful leader. And also commitment, dedication, both are important. So that is very important. Next, teamwork. So this is all about, in teamwork, you have to do your role. You have to, even if you are assigned some work, you have to attend. You have to meet the deadlines. You have to finish the project. You have to coordinate with them. You have to be cheerful. You have to be patient. You have to really endure certain hardships in case that come your way. So these are all important. Next, so now how to improve your interpersonal skills. So how do you really improve them? Making a deliberate plan can help you quickly. Making a deliberate plan can help you quickly improve. So sketch it out, understand and plan out. Attend workshops or online classes. So you make a deliberate, for example, you kind of draw, be strategic, how you can really go about, be committed. Seeking opportunities to build up relationships. You look for opportunities, wait for the opportunities, grab the opportunities. Be thoughtful about the ways your interactions could really improve. Talk meaningfully. Only talk that are productive. Do not talk that will really demotivate them. You should be very encouraging to others. Okay, so seek opportunity. Be thoughtful about the ways your interaction could really improve. Look whether your interaction is able to improve your performance or others' performance, or improve the work of performance. Next, ask trusted friends or colleagues for constructive criticism. This is very important. Talk to them and convey, ask for their feedback, how good you are at with them, at doing, managing things in your team. Constructive criticism will definitely, bring you very good results, right? Honest feedback is very important. Next, observe other positive interpersonal interactions. You just keep as your role models. Observe how they're establishing, how they are really, carrying out their interpersonal relationships or interactions or talks, right? Also seek mentorship. This is very important in any company or in any organization. So you try to seek their, mentorship. You get benefited a lot. You will learn a lot. You get very good guidance in case. So that means like sometimes what we feel is whatever we plan, we think, oh, that's all needed. Oh, we are going in a right way. But sometimes we do not go in a right way. So you have to get a very good constructive feedback, criticism from your pals or from your colleagues or from your bosses, or else you can also seek mentorship. Next, highlight interpersonal skills when applying for jobs. And my dear graduates, engineer graduates, whenever you are working or when you are going to apply for any job, okay, you have your own resume, right? So there include this interpersonal skills on your resume. So highlight them, try to make them stand out. So maybe a section of paragraph, one section can really go into your resume. So you try to have this technical skills, like for example, like pure system or digital, for systems like HTML, you will try to do that. Also additional skills you can really mention, like effective team player. These are all like interpersonal skills that you're trying to convey. Highly communicative and cooperative, so part of interpersonal. Active listener, interpersonal. Innovative researcher, interpersonal. So this section will really help you improve your resume. It will boost up your resume, and the reader of your resume or the boss who hiring manager will definitely be drawn towards your personality, and he or she might really hire you for the respective placement. So you try to highlight additional skills. So next, what else? Your interpersonal skills also include, they include your kind of like a patient, calm, very good, personality. So you can also include that on a cover letter, right? You can also, you write a cover letter, right? So you can include these details of section, right? Also, interpersonal skills in a job interview or on the job. So when you appear for the interview, and sometimes they might ask you, sometimes they may not ask you, but in case if they are not going to ask you, you can definitely highlight your essential skills. You can definitely highlight that you really possess, and you can tell them that you have got excellent interpersonal skills, that you are able to persuade them. Next, once you successfully get a job, right? Once you get a job, you will continue to rely on interpersonal skills. So that is why you are demonstrating that you are dependable, right? And also taking initiative to lead and impacting positive colleagues. Highlight them. If you are attending any interview, highlight them. You say that you can really impact others very positively, and that you are very dependable also, and you demonstrate that in your interview. Definitely that will help you. Next, so if you have all this, if you follow all this, definitely you will be a very successful interpersonal communicator. So having following all these things, you can definitely. Now let me once again brush up all the facts or all the important truths that we have discussed as part of this session. So let us see how we began. Let us sum up in a crystal clear way, just what else we have talked about it, right? So we understood the definition or the meaning of interpersonal skills, right? So we understood this building interpersonal skills is very important. We understood what are interpersonal skills. We understood how we can really use this. We understood how do you really use these interpersonal skills in company. We understood little more deeper about how you can really activate those interpersonal skills. Also, we understood the importance of interpersonal skills. We also understood the significance of interpersonal skills. And then we try to understand what will come actually part of, or what are part of these interpersonal skills. Also, we saw all this empathy, team leadership, dependability, all these are part of it. And then we understood how we can really work on this, improve, on this interpersonal skills. Also, we understood how to improve. Okay. And how to prepare. And also we saw to that we can really highlight interpersonal skills when applying for jobs. And also we understood how we can kind of like interpersonal skills, how we can really include, how we can really show them in our interviews. So also we saw that we can really demonstrate others by showing our interpersonal skills ability, like in terms of words or in any way of demonstration. So having discussed all these things, I would now understand that definitely you will be a person of great interpersonal skills, and you will definitely you will definitely be able to reap the success you really desire for. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.